Thank you. Welcome to the Massena Caucus. If everyone could please rise, we're going to say the national anthem with Mr. Hersey's the Pledge of Allegiance. Herbie's going to start us off, please.
Remove your hat.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin the proceedings tonight, I just would like to take a moment to welcome two candidates. Renee Cole is running for county treasurer. She's back here, and we have Assemblywoman Addie Russell running for re-election. Thank you both very much for coming. Mike Derrick will be here this evening. He is coming a little late, so afterwards, please feel free to stay, and all three of them have just a little bit of talking they're going to do after we do the proceedings. So at this time, I will call the caucus proceedings to order. Any interested person can attend our caucus, but only those enrolled Democrats that live in the village and are registered voters by the County Board of Elections are eligible to participate. At this time, we will nominate a caucus chair and a secretary.
I nominate Courtney as chair.
Second.
Thank you.
Do it all in one motion.
Oh, do it on one?
Yep.
I nominate Courtney and Joe. Courtney as the chair and Joe as the secretary.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we have to actually take the oath, which Bob is going to read off for us, and we will respond. Oh, actually, you don't have to. We'll just read it. Yeah. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of chair
Secretary
of this party caucus to the best of my ability. Whenever not otherwise specified by New York State election law or the rules of the caucus, town, county, or Democratic committees, the authority for parliamentary procedure shall be Robert's Rules of Order. A person must be present to participate. Those arriving late or leaving early may only take part in the business occurring while they are present. There is no proxy permitted at the caucus. Nominations will be taken for office one at a time. The nominator may speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. One seconding speech will be permitted per candidate, not to exceed 2 minutes in length. When all nominations from the floor have been received, the nominations will be closed. Each candidate may then address the caucus, each for not more than 5 minutes. Voting will take place by hand unless anyone would like to request paper ballot. All votes will be taken by call showing hands by all in favor or all opposed. A majority vote is required to win the nomination when there is a single nominee. The highest vote will win the nomination when there are multiple nominees. Tonight we have 2 positions that are up. We have 2 positions for village trustee, so I will open the floor for nominations.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to put Francis Carville's name in as a trustee to run in the November election. Francis has been on the board for 8 years now, and he's a Massena boy. His parents were Frank and Rose Brown Carville. He's a longtime resident of Massena, like I said. He educated in Massena schools, graduated in 1970. I think he graduated on Sunday night. Monday morning he went to work for the village of Massena. Married to wife Sandy. They have 1 daughter, a son-in-law, and they have 2 grandchildren. Like I said, Francis worked for the Village of Massena, and he worked there for over 36 years, retired in 2007. First elected to the board in 2008, and then re-elected in 2012. Right now, he works part-time for Rose Hill, and his hobbies are dirt car racing and four-wheeling. I've attended many village board meetings in the last 6 years, I guess, or maybe even more, since Francis has been on the board. He does an outstanding job. He knows what he's doing. He has a good feeling for the Village of Massena. His work experience certainly has enhanced Massena understanding. You can't pull the wool over his eyes because he knows what's going on, and even by doing that, he steps on a few toes, but it doesn't matter. For the simple reason, it's for the betterment of Massena. He does a great job, and I'm hoping that he will be reelected this coming fall. Thank you very much.
Are there any seconds to the nomination?
I would second that nomination, Madam Chairman.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Any other nominations this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to nominate Herb DeShays. He's my father. He's a great man. He's been on the board for 21 years. 21 years. Lifelong resident of Massena. He's done a very good job. He's raised, well, some of his kids turned out pretty good. He's been the voice for the common man in Massena, and I again nominate Herb DeShays.
Second.
I second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Are there any other nominations at this time? Motion to close the floor for nominations.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. At this time, the candidates that have been nominated have the chance to speak. Francis or Herbie?
Like I was telling Patrick and the rest of us, in 1995, I got appointed to the village board by then Mayor Charles Boots, John Wick, and myself. I've been there ever since, and the first election we had was 1996, and it was down to the American Legion. They had a tote board down there. And we were in there, and I said, there's only one person on that board got more votes than I got in that election, and his name was Bill Clinton. You know? And I've been there ever since, every 4 years. And I enjoy doing it. I got a lot of time, and my policy is common sense. If you got common sense, you can do anything you got to do. You have to do. It makes sense. And I got a lot of time to, and a lot of committees were all appointed. And Francis and I sign every bill that goes through the village. It's surprising how much money it takes to run this village. And Francis, we do a heck of a job, and we have to do it. We have to be in there 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a week to sign the bills. And we've had mayors. Right now we've got we're all Democrats, both parties, town and the village, except for the supervisors, the only Republican. We're all Democrats, but we all get together. I was on with Charlie Booth. I was on with the mayor. Ken McDonald, 2 terms, Randy DeLosh, 2 terms, Jimmy Heidi, 1 term. So we all get together. But what the main thing is in small town and village, it's for everybody. Everybody knows everybody. If you don't like them, come to the meetings. Like Charlie said, Charlie comes to the meeting. If you come to the meeting, we meet every first and third Tuesday of the month at 5:30 at the town hall upstairs. It's open to the public, and the way that it's structured, you have a chance to have an input. And then after the meeting, at the end of it, you can have an input again after the meeting's over with, which makes it good. If you got something you want to say, keep it. And we do have people that do have problems, not problems, but opinions. There's nothing wrong with that, that's the way it should be. And now, like I say, I've been on there for 21 years and I enjoy doing it. And my kids said, Daddy, you going to run again? I said, I love it. And I had my son, my oldest son Mike, was a county legislator way back when with Gene LePage, who used to work for the radio station. That's going back a few years. Charlie remembers that. Okay, that's enough talking. Thank you.
Well, I'm not quite as good a speaker as Herb is. I've been around quite as long. I'd like to thank everyone who's here tonight, especially Chairperson Shays and Secretary McCauley. I'd like to thank Mr. Boots for nominating me, and I've enjoyed the last 8 years. As he said earlier, I've been around this village most of my life. My father worked here before I did, so I've been around basically since the early 50s. I've seen the good times and the bad times in the village. Through those years, and I gained a lot of knowledge of this village, and that's what I use today when I make my decisions, voting on whatever it might be. And I'm not very good at public speaking, but I'm very good at voicing my opinion. And I don't back down when I think something should go a certain way. I'll give it all my effort that I've got to make sure that it goes that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, we are going to close the caucus and allow Renee and Addie to speak. Motion to close the caucus, please.
So moved.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Renee, would you like to speak first?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me tonight. My name's Renee Cole. I'm from Ubleton, New York. I'm the current deputy St. Lawrence County Treasurer, and I'm running for the St. Lawrence County Treasurer's office. The seat was vacated in January of this year. I thought I would just give you a little bit of background about myself in case you haven't attended any of the meetings. I've been to Potsdam a couple of times at Surgery's. So I started working in municipal treasury in 2003 after McCann and Cheese Company closed. I had been employed there, my husband as well, for 9 years. I was lucky and got a job at the Village of Canton then, and I was hired as their deputy treasurer, so that kind of set me down the path that I'm at now. I worked at the village for almost 4 years before I accepted the position of assistant school business manager at St. Lawrence Lewis Caucus, and I was there for over, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I think, and I was offered a job at the county as highway administration manager. I transferred from that. I took a promotion to fiscal services to be their accounting supervisor. The position's called fiscal manager. I was the fiscal manager at social services for 2 years until I accepted another promotion when the former treasurer asked me if I would be his deputy treasurer accounting supervisor. I accepted that position in May of 2015, and I've been there ever since. I don't know if you're all familiar, we lost our treasurer in January of this year, so I've pretty much been running the office by myself, trying to do both jobs. So it's been a really rough year, trying to do that and campaign. We're behind there, but we're just managing until we can get through this election, and then I can hire a deputy in January and get things back on track there. So I don't really have that much more to tell you. I can tell you some things that we have done in the office to improve things. They're kind of smaller, or we or myself have. I'm participating on the budget team when I can. Actually, I'm not doing as much as I planned on this year because of the vacancy in the treasurer's seat. It's really impacting how much time I can spend working on the county budget team. We've had to shift a lot of staff around, so I'm actually using the staff in better ways and taking advantage of some of the talent, because we have a really good talent at the treasurer's office at the county. we do have some long-term goals there. We need to do some better reconciliations. When I walked into that office, there's a lot of things that were not being done properly. And there's some big projects ahead for us when we get back up to full staff. So that's going to be one of our first things that come next January. And better reconciliations on things will mean better reporting for the legislators who have to make all the hard decisions. So those are my first big goals. Long-term goals, I'd like to see us get some better training out at our departments. The county has over 26 departments, and there's different fiscal staff that are out in those offices, and sometimes there's not good communication or good training, and there's a lot of turnover there. So I'd like to get some better training and better communication countywide out to those people too. So, and that's really it. Thanks for having me. Anybody has any questions?
Thank you. Patty?
First, I want to start off by saying that it really can't be understated that Renee is doing two people's job right now. And I just want to say that everybody that's come out to support her throughout the parade season and the campaign season is just phenomenal, because she really is essentially got 3 full-time jobs going on right now. And that should be the testament to the strength of her candidacy. So good luck, and she's going to need everybody pulling for her down the line as well, because I think we all realize that it's important to have someone that we can talk to and have an honest conversation about as this county tries to work forward through difficult financial times. So congratulations, you've been doing a great job this year. Well, I stand before you asking for your support for my 5th term in the New York State Assembly. Boy, time flies. I guess my entire term as your assemblywoman has really been tied to Massena in particular. The first month that I took office, I got a call from GM. And, I think we're all just beginning to realize the financial situation that not just Massena is in, but the entire state and country and world. And so last cycle, when I had an incredibly tough race, it didn't really go unnoticed at all to me that my margin of victory came from Massena. And I hope that as you have watched me over the last 8 years, you understand just how much I am in it with Massena. The future of this state and this country revolves around good paying jobs. The manufacturing jobs that used to be here, the manufacturing jobs that are still here and that we're going to continue to fight for, and potentially manufacturing jobs that could come in the future. This is a fantastic community to work with. And I will say that not all communities are fantastic to work with. But maybe it has something to do with what some of your wonderful village trustees, I think Herb said, that everybody is on the same team here. And that truly is the case. We have Mayor Currier, who I'm proud to be able to partner with and support, and a lot of the things that he is leading. Being able to bring $250,000 to help the Boys and Girls Club get going was really a no-brainer. It's such a fantastic program, and this community's foresight and bringing that here and making it a reality is absolutely something I wanted to make sure that was done and done right, and done not just, can we get something done, but to give it the due attention and resources that it needs and that this community needs. Before that, I was able to work with him while he was chief and get him funding to help combat some of the criminal problems that are in this community. And looking forward, we're also working on other projects together. We toured, was it 3 recreation sites the last time I was up? And talked, unfortunately, that day that I was here, while we were on the tour, we got notification of an overdose. So those, those issues, that day I also met with, I'm going to get the task force messed up. Yes, the Massena Drug-Free Coalition, to talk about the issues here. But first and foremost, I think everybody realizes that good paying jobs is at the top of the list of things that we're working on here. I have meetings that we sometimes have to keep a little bit confidential, but I think that there are real opportunities that we're going to be hearing about in the very near future, about new jobs coming to this area that are right in our wheelhouse and that will help families to be able to stay here in the community and to flourish. You all know that I have tried to provide as much objective information as I can regarding the future of the hospital. It's an area that I have been working in for several years, having been appointed by the governor to a commission several years ago to look at reshaping the entire healthcare system in the North Country, and not just on this side of the Adirondacks, but on the other side. So I have quite a bit of experience working in this area over the last several years, and of course, you know, I represent, I think it's 5 hospitals that are in my district, but more that lay just outside. But this is an area that I have been working in quite in-depthly and want to make sure that I am of as much assistance to this community as it struggles with what the future of the hospital is going to be. We all want to make sure that it is here, that there are good paying jobs in this community as well, and they're part of that. They're a piece of the economic fabric of this community. And so, you know, I don't know why it has to sometimes seem adversarial, but it's something that I'm committed to providing the information and the knowledge that I know, and also to be of assistance if there's something that I need to do legislatively. So I guess with that, I'm here asking for your support again. I'm active in a lot of other areas that impact Massena. I'm on the Energy Committee, the Corporations Committee. I am on the Veterans Committee, Economic Development, Local Government, and Agriculture. All very important committees. I am at the senior level. There's not many more people that have more seniority on these committees specifically. And that's probably because we've been able, Massena has been able to ensure that I have been able to hang on and gain seniority. So I'm in really strong positions on committees that really mean a lot to this area. And it won't be very long until I graduate from chairing task forces and those types of, you know, level organizations until I'm a full chair. And that could happen conceivably in the next term. You know, being possibly a chair of agriculture, energy, or corporations would be extremely important for this area, given the assets that we have. And so I know that you always work hard for me here in Massena, and I hope that you will continue to do that, because our hard work is, I think, more than at the payoff level. I've been able to get a lot of resources here, and I'm shaping statewide policy at this point. And, you know, having the North Country's interests, you know, first and foremost in my mind as I shape that policy, I think sets us up to really have more prosperity than certainly you would under any one of my opponents. So thank you all for your time this evening, and I hope again for your robust support, because we have shared values. I'm not sure that they're shared by my opponents, and so I love it when Massena's values are the ones that get a candidate across the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Finally, I am very excited, very honored that we have tonight to speak. The candidate for Congress, Mike Derrick, is here. Thank you so much. I know that you have a very busy schedule. We really appreciate you coming to Massena.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, and it's always good to be back in Massena. I've been all over the district today. Today will be a 350-mile day, which, you know, in this district, that's not too unusual. But I will be here this evening, obviously, and be happy to say a few words about who I am, why I'm running, the state of this race, and then I'll be back here on Labor Day, and I'll be marching in the Labor Day parade with the IBEW. So I'm looking forward to that. So my name's Mike Derrick. For those of you who have not met me before, I'm from Peru, New York, which is in the Champlain Valley, just south of Plattsburgh, Clinton County. That's where I grew up. I spent 28 years in the U.S. Army. I'm a retired U.S. Army colonel. During my time in the military, I've done a lot of things. I've led troops into combat. I've patrolled on the DMZ in Korea. I have been awarded the Bronze Star for what I did in the Middle East during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And 28 years in the U.S. Army was, as I put it, living a life of leadership. And I think just as Assemblywoman Russell was just saying, the future of this region will best be realized if we have strong leaders at every level. Here in Massena, in Albany, and in Washington. And those leaders have to work together. And if there's anything I've learned in my time in the service, it's that teamwork and being a team player is what really matters. And I don't see that happening right now with our current representative in Congress. So, the state of this race right now is that we have moved this race into being one of the most competitive in the country. And that has caused, in this very unusual and turbulent election year, that has caused the eyes of the nation to be on this race. We were just in the Washington Post a couple weeks ago, and the article was about 5 races to watch across the entire country, which will indicate where we go as a nation. Will we choose to go down the path of hatred and fear that we hear from the other side of the aisle, or will we choose to go down the path of a better future that you hear from the Democratic Party? And you know which side I stand on, and I know which side you stand on. So we have taken this race to a new level. We have given it a competitiveness that people didn't expect, given that I'm running against a Washington insider who is remarkably well funded, whose priorities are her party and her donors. Her priorities are not this district. And having grown up here and having served this nation and gone into harm's way for this nation and led American soldiers into battle, I think you understand that when I say my heart is in the right place, and if elected to Congress, my priority will be what is best for the North Country. Everybody knows we have a lot of work to do. That's absolutely, that is front and center for all of you who live in Massena. And I still believe, just as you said a couple minutes ago, that there are great things in front of us if we work together and if we take decisions that will move us in that direction. So, I am also here this evening to ask for your support. St. Lawrence County to us is absolutely important. It is a big district. There are 12 counties here, all right? 10 whole counties and then half of Saratoga, half of Herkimer. It is a very hard district to campaign in because when I'm in Glens Falls, they want me to be in Watertown, and they also want me to be in Massena, and they also want me to be in Plattsburgh on the very same day, because there's all these important things going on, and there's all these people who care about the future of our region and the future of our country. But I'm doing my level best to get to as many places as I can. I've been doing this for a year. I'm still standing. I'm still going strong. They call it a campaign for a reason. I've been on a few campaigns in my life, although it was in a very different line of work. And so I've only got, how many days we got left? Something like 65? Is that about right? Anybody know?
68.
70, all right, 70 days. So, not that I'm counting, but I think we are in a great position this year to take the representation that currently exists in our district in Congress and flip it. And that will be better when you have me in Congress working with folks like Assemblywoman Russell. All of a sudden, the dynamics change. All of a sudden, more gets done. All of a sudden, that's better for Massena, and it's better for Canton, and it's better for Potsdam, and it's better for Plattsburgh. I'd be happy to take any questions. Is that something you'd like to do? Is that part of the format here?
Yes, if anybody has any, absolutely.
Okay, so that's kind of who I am, why I'm doing this, and where this race stands right now. And I do need your help. So does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any comments they'd like to share with all of us this afternoon?
Where's your biggest opposition going to come from?
Well, when you look at registration, it's Watertown, so Jefferson County and Lewis County. All right? So people go, that's the most Republican part of this district, and that's it. The difference is that I'm a U.S. Army Colonel, retired Airborne Ranger, and they understand what that means in Jefferson County, okay?
So you got friends down there.
We got friends there, and there's a lot of people who say, listen, you know, even if they're registered Republicans, they go, hey, I know what an Army Colonel can do. I know what he's been through in his life, and all of a sudden their opinion changes. They're willing to look at me. I'm in the D column. They're in R, but they're going to cross party lines and vote for me. I think we will do well there.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question.
Mike, when are you going to debate? Is there a debate scheduled with your opponent?
Yeah, we have 4 offers right now for debates. We do not have one scheduled yet. I don't know how many that's going to work out to, but we have a debate offer from a TV station in Albany that does this all the time. They expect to do it. We have one from one of the universities, and then I believe the League of Women Voters has come up on the net and said, hey, we'd like to hold one. There's one other, I'm not really sure which one that is. But yes, we will have debates. I want to get on the stage with Elise Stefanik. And if she doesn't want to debate me, then I'll stand there and I'll answer questions. We'll have an empty podium right over here. All right? You know, she keeps walking away from the camera. And that's now happened a couple different times, and it's on film. And, you know, that tells you who we're talking about here. This isn't somebody who's from the district, understands the district, and is for the district. She has a different agenda. And if you ask her tough questions about her agenda, it quickly doesn't make sense. And those are the things she doesn't want to talk about.
Mike, they must be scared of you because I saw in your email today that Paul Ryan's up here floating around somewhere.
He was in Saratoga, not in the district, at the racetrack or somewhere down there, maybe the golf clubhouse, Saratoga last night, raising money for Elise Stefanik. So, yeah, when you bring in the big guns to raise money for a congressional candidate, something's going on. So there, I think she is very scared. She's very concerned about this. One of the interesting things that's happened lately is, you know, we're being, you know, all of the rules and regulations that go on with elections, all of those are being thrown at us right now. And they're being thrown at people who support us. You know, they're being asked to provide data, to provide information, just because they're looking for a chink in our armor.
One more comment.
Yeah.
I could say after you guys were speaking about the town, the state, and the federal level, the night they were closing, they announced they were closing Alcoa. Within the hour, Addie called us, Mike called us, Tim was at the Union Hall, Tom was there, Elise still had the call. She really didn't care. You know, I have to say, I've met with her in Washington. I've had her in our Union Hall. You take the stance on TPP in the same way that we do as steel workers and all of the labor movement. Elise is the exact opposite. She won't give a true answer to certain things and questions that we have, you have. I just want to bring that up so that people in the room realize that when that call came and they were closing our plant, Mike was calling to find out what he could do. He wasn't even representing us at the time. He stood up to try and become, and hopefully will be, our next representative. But he made the call. Our representative didn't.
By the way, I'll be speaking to the steel workers on Monday in the Union Hall before the parade, and then walking with the IBEW, and I'll try to come through all of organized labor as you line up during the parade. I look forward to speaking to whoever's out there, and, you know, I would encourage you, we're going to have an office here, so steel workers are actually going to put some folks working on the campaign, and for that I'm very thankful. We're going to have an office in Potsdam. I think we're going to have some support from your office here, your Union Hall up here. So we're going to have a footprint in St. Lawrence County where people can go, they can make phone calls, we're going to canvass all the neighborhoods, We're going to try to draw in all the students and the professors and teachers down in the southern end of the county, because that's a great base of supports for us. So between organized labor and all of the educational community, you know, I see St. Lawrence County as potentially being the place where we win this election. That's how I'm viewing it right now. Plus, I like coming over here, you know? It's better than going to Watertown, which is 4 hours away. You know, I can get, don't tell the Watertown people I said that. It's just a heck of a long ways, all right? It's a nice town, but boy, oh boy. All right, anybody else? Hey, thanks.
Just want to thank everybody for coming. We have beverages and snacks over here if you want to take a few minutes to mingle, and maybe after